Hi, I'm Alison. Welcome to Dream Chasers Adventures in Happiness, where my band of superhero guests and I share with you tales of daring do, life-changing journeys towards living our best lives. If you're after an injection of inspiration and ideas to live the life that you want and deserve, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hi there, and welcome to the show where we serve up conversation, concepts, and belief that it is entirely possible to create what you crave. If there's something stopping you from pursuing happiness, whatever that looks like to you from a career or lifestyle point of view, the stories and insights covered here are designed to help. Now today, I am getting into the subject of gratitude. But before you roll your eyes, because this is something we've all heard of and we're supposed to do more of, what I'm delving into today isn't just the bog standard, this is why gratitude is good for you and why you should do it argument, although I will cover some of that. There's actually a fascinating result of gratitude practices that isn't really talked about very much, and I want to bring it alive because it can have a huge impact on the number of good things happening to and for you in your life. The basis for this is that gratitude makes us more open to opportunities, it helps us create more opportunities, and it makes us more likely to act on those opportunities. Intrigued? Good, let's get into it. So let's just start off with a big picture perspective. I think most of us have heard at least some of the scientifically backed arguments for practicing gratitude. It's been proven to have a range of positive effects on our physical, our mental and emotional health. And I'm just going to touch on each of them quickly, just so we have context. So for example, from a physical point of view, gratitude practices have been linked to better quality sleep and longer sleep duration. It's also been shown to sort of help reduce blood pressure because it has a calming effect on our bodies and helps regulate our cardiovascular system. Gratitude reduces the physiological markers of stress like cortisol levels, which can help lower inflation that might otherwise contribute to autoimmune diseases and cardiovascular conditions. And it's been proven to strengthen our immune system, reducing our susceptibility to illness. So all of this combined is pretty powerful on the health front. From a mental health perspective, gratitude has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety levels, to even reduce the symptoms of depression, and it's to lead to greater optimism and life satisfaction and overall enhanced well-being. Now, on the emotional front, gratitude has been linked to improved emotional resilience and bounce back ability. So when shit gets hard, we have the emotional wherewithal to deal with it. It also gives us a stronger sense of self-worth and self-esteem, which, I think a lot of us could do with more of. And it increases our empathy and compassion towards others, as well as strengthening our social bonds and our relationships. So there are already loads of reasons why this is a good thing to do. But I want to delve into a less talked about idea that I personally find really exciting and that links a little bit to the law of attraction argument. And it's this. It's the fact that practicing gratitude has been linked to people having a greater openness to opportunity, which in turn increases the likelihood of attracting and chalking up more positive outcomes. So basically, being actively grateful makes you more open to spotting opportunities and then acting on them, which inevitably increases the number of good things happening to and for you in your life. Now, I think this is pretty damn awesome, but let's break it down and look at how and why gratitude actually does this. There are 5 key things to know. So firstly, gratitude fosters a positive mindset. I think that's pretty obvious. People who practice gratitude regularly have a more positive outlook on life, but it's that positivity that helps them focus on possibilities rather than limitations. So when someone feels grateful, they are more likely to see the silver linings in situations. And importantly, this makes them more open to new experiences and ideas and opportunities. It fosters that growth mindset that we've all heard so much about, and it makes us aware of opportunities that we might not otherwise see, particularly if they are born out of struggle or challenge. Now, this on its own would be one thing, but the second point is that research has shown that gratitude also boosts confidence, which can make people more willing to take risks. So, the confidence that gratitude instills encourages us to step out of our comfort zone and pursue opportunities that we might otherwise shy away from. It means that we are more likely to try new things and more things, which broadens and increases our likelihood of good outcomes as a result. The third thing that gratitude does is improve social interactions. It's been proven to strengthen our relationships, not just with our friends and family and work contacts, but also with total strangers. So when we express gratitude to others or give small gestures of thanks in everyday encounters, like thanking someone for holding the door open for us, we increase feelings of trust, of positivity, and of goodwill within our social network and our interactions. And this can create more opportunities for collaboration, for mentorship, for new partnerships, and even new support networks. Now, the fourth thing that gratitude fosters is better decision making. In short, grateful people tend to make better decisions because a sense of gratitude allows us to approach situations with a clearer and calmer mindset. It helps us to make choices based on long-term benefits rather than short-term impulses. And it's this clarity that helps us recognize valuable opportunities that might align with our goals. Now, the fifth and final point is that gratitude inspires a broader perspective. Right? It encourages us to focus on what we already have and the people and experiences that bring us joy. Now, this shift in perspective can open the door to new opportunities because grateful people often feel less constrained by their current circumstances and more open to trying new things or considering different paths. So, these 5 scientifically backed arguments explain why gratitude helps us up the ante on spotting and acting on new opportunities, which inevitably increases the number of great things happening in our work and personal lives. But to give you a flavour of what this really looks like in action, I thought I'd share a couple of examples that come from an old Derren Brown experiment that was aired on TV quite a number of years ago called The Secret of Luck. Now, in this experiment, Derren Brown set out to prove that there is no such thing as luck and that it's actually all about how open you are to opportunity, because that is what courts good things in. Now, while the programme didn't focus specifically on gratitude, there were 2 camps of people that they ran experiments with. There were those who believed they were lucky. So basically, people who demonstrated a positive mindset and who showed gratitude in the way that they lived and interacted with others. And there were those people who believed that they were unlucky. And you can probably imagine that these people struggled with a more negative mindset generally and were more fear-based in the way that they lived and interacted with people. Now, Derren Brown sent Dawn O'Porter to a village in West Yorkshire to run this experiment. And obviously the people in the village had no idea that this was going on. She was under the guise of doing some research for a documentary around luck. She was going around talking to people and asking them whether they felt lucky or not and getting to know people within the community so that there were two very clear camps at the end of the day. Those who felt lucky, those that didn't. And then they ran a number of experiments without these people realising that were quite eye-opening. And one of them was taking these 2 separate groups on a trip to the seaside. So they took them to the seaside and they gave each of these people, each of these groups of people some money and asked them to play in the arcades and gamble to see if they would be lucky and win. And so they did exactly that. They had a lovely day out and they played on the slot machines and in the arcades. And at the end of the day, it was staggering, the difference in terms of the money that had been made by those that believed they were lucky compared to those that believed that they were unlucky. Now, obviously, at the time, those people were like, well, I'm a lucky person. Or, yeah, that. Of course, I didn't win. I was unlucky. But what was really at play here was how open they were to opportunity. Because those that felt that they were lucky were willing to take more calculated risks. They were willing to kind of put themselves out there and have a go, which inevitably upped their success stakes. So that was one experiment. The other experiment they ran, and this was really eye-opening, there was a chap who was a local butcher in a village, in the town square, and he was one of the people that believed that he was generally unlucky in life, and they'd interviewed him, or Dorno Porter had, about this. So they thought that they would stage some opportunities for him to be lucky. So without him realising this, the first thing they did was mock up a scratch card that they got the postman to post through his letterbox with the rest of his post. And there was a secret camera filming, and had he scratched the scratch card, he would have won a home cinema system, right? So, but the camera captures him as he picks up his post, and he goes through it, and he gets to this scratch card, and he just kind of harumps, and was like, and just threw it in the bin. So he missed the opportunity to win a home cinema system. So the next thing that they did is they planted a fake market researcher in the village square outside of his butcher's shop, who was busy stopping people as they were going past and asking them questions for a chance to win an amazing holiday. Now, what the butcher didn't know was that the questions were all around cuts of meat. So clearly he was going to know the answers and he was going to win the holiday. So they were filming secretly, and this guy came out of his butcher's shop one lunchtime and got accosted by the market researcher, and he fobbed them off. He was like, oh, I'm just on my way somewhere. I'll come and see you when I get back. And then they filmed as on his way back, he deliberately circumnavigated that person to avoid having to talk to them. So he missed his opportunity to win an all expenses paid holiday. So then they were like, God, we've got to do something more obvious. So the third thing that they did was plant a £50 note on the pavement that was directly in his line of sight on his walk home from his butcher's shop. And then they filmed as this guy literally just walked past it, didn't see it, didn't notice it. So it's just shows, I think these two examples, the kind of gambling one and this butcher's one, really I think drive home the powerful impact that practicing gratitude and being open to opportunity can have on our life experience, right? And the good stuff that happens to us, or not, as the case may be. Because if we're practicing gratitude, we are boosting our positive mindset, we're taking more calculated risks, we're building relationships that pay back in dividends, we're making better decisions, and we're more gung-ho when it comes to trying new things that might just work. So if I've convinced you of this, of practicing gratitude or practicing it a bit more often, what's the best approach? Well, like with everything, different things work for different people, but I'm going to give you a few ideas. See if any of these take your fancy. The first thing you could do, or one thing you could try, is gratitude journaling. Now, that basically means writing down the things that you are grateful for every day, focusing on specific moments or people or experiences. And the whole thing with this is the more specific you make it, the better. So rather than a kind of, oh, I am grateful for John or Diane, be specific about why. I am grateful for John because he really showed up for me at that difficult point in life, or and helped provide support. Or I am grateful for Diane because she makes me laugh and kind of brings lightness to my days. There have been scientific studies done with people suffering from anxiety and even depression, where they have felt a noticeable difference in how they feel after a period of gratitude journaling. So it really does work. So if you are naturally a writer, that might be something to try. You could also write a gratitude letter. Right? This one can have such a massive impact. It just involves writing a card or a letter to someone who has had a positive impact on your life, expressing your gratitude for their support or kindness or influence. You know, we don't often say out loud what we think and feel about someone's impact on us. So this requires us to be emotionally vulnerable, but it can feel amazing to do and even more wonderful for the person receiving it. Now, if you like movement, you could go for a gratitude walk, and this just means intentionally taking a walk to reflect on the things that you are thankful for. So whether it's a walk in nature or around your local neighbourhood, as you walk, just think of the things in your life that you are grateful for and allow yourself to really feel the positive feelings that come along with this. Now, if you're a visual person, you could try a gratitude jar. I've had clients do this with their kids to make it even more fun. Basically, get an empty jar and every day or week, write down things that you're grateful for on small pieces of paper and put them in the jar. And then when you need a mood boost, take them out and read them. This is a great way of remembering the fabulous things that have happened and the feel-good experiences that you've had throughout the month or the year. One other thing you could do is deliberately choose to perform small acts of kindness for others. All right, this could be as simple as giving somebody a compliment, or it could be a thoughtful gesture or offering to help someone in need. Not only does it feel good, but it enhances your relationship with others, and it also creates a ripple effect, fostering a sense of interconnection and appreciation. So those are just a few examples that might be worth giving a go. So that's it for this episode. I really hope that it's got you thinking about your own levels of gratitude and how you might boost them up to enhance your openness to opportunity so that you can attract greater levels of good stuff in your life and work. If you know anyone who would benefit from listening to this episode, please do share it. And until next time, just know that I believe in you and in your ability to use gratitude to enhance your life and amp up your success and happiness quota. So go do your thing.
Thank you for listening today. I hope our time together has got you thinking about your own adventure in happiness. So please do get in touch. I'd love to hear more about your story. And why not join our Dream Chasers Unite community? There is nothing better than an adventure shared. Until next time, be brave and go create what you crave.